Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 4, Episode 8, Stranger in a Strange Land. Woo, you guys, this was a great episode. I mean, this was such a good episode. If you guys do not watch this series and you only come here for my recap, I suggest you go on Hulu or TLC On Demand or whatever you gotta do. Find this episode. It was so hilarious. I know we're all in quarantine during this time and some of us may not have much to do, but if you guys want to get some nail care stuff from Madam Glam, I have a link below and a discount code for 30% off. I just did my nails yesterday and my sister said that they look like butter popcorn color, but I think they're cute. We all remember those times when we can go to the nail shop and we had our favorite nail lady, Lily. Sometimes I would take Diane if Lily wasn't available. And we got our manis and petties, and this is a different time. It's a new normal. We're just hairy, and we have to do our nails ourselves. All right, you guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share my content on any social media platforms. I'm here for you. I'm here to bring the entertainment. Let's get into this episode. So the first couple that we're going to talk about, Ash and Avery. I don't even know what happened. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what happened. It's just like they had the same conversation that they've been having for the last 2 episodes. Why are they in every single episode? I don't know. Let's move on. The next couple that we're going to talk about, Stephanie and Erica. So we are right off the heels of their argument where Erica gets up and leaves Stephanie sitting at the table after they're having their romantic dinner. And it is the next day. They're getting ready, prepared to go back to Port Augusta, which is where Erica is from. Erica at some point goes downstairs while Stephanie is getting her bags together and has a little conversation with her homegirl Paige. So she confides in the friend that she's known forever and says, hey, yeah, we've been having some problems. This is what happened, whoop-de-whoop-de-whooped. So she comes upstairs to the room to help Stephanie with the finishing touches of getting ready, and Stephanie's like, what were you doing? So Erica is honest and she's like, I was on the phone with my friend, giving her like an update on what's been going on the last couple of days. And Stephanie felt some kind of way about it. Stephanie, who has flown all the way over here, put her health in danger, but yet doesn't want to show the girl affection because she says she just met her 3 days ago, is like, I would prefer if you didn't have conversations about me to your friends. And Erica's like, well, I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, this is my best friend I've known forever, so I'm gonna talk to her about what's going on so that, you know, to get some clarity, to get some perspective, like whatever, you need time away to talk to your homies. And I'm just like, Stephanie, I get that you feel some kind of way about this, but here's how you say it. Oh, you told your friend about us? Oh, that makes me so sad. I don't want your friends to not like me. You know, I'm sorry about these last couple of days. Let's just move forward and make this whole situation better for the future of my time here. No, that's not what happened though. They get into the car and they're driving to Port Augusta, and I think it's about a 2-hour or 4-hour drive. And so while they're in the car, Erica tries to broach the conversation about their last couple of days and like tries to resolve it. But Stephanie doesn't feel like having a conversation with her while they're in the car for 2 to 4 hours about their issues is an appropriate time to have that conversation. And we're all confused. To me, it feels like the absolute perfect time. I don't know if Stephanie thought that Erica was gonna reach over and just punch her in the face. Like, I'm not sure what exactly she's worried about happening, but that was the perfect time to have the conversation. So they're in the car, not talking about the huge elephant in the back seat blowing its trumpet. They get to where they're supposed to go. Erica tells her, hey, my friend is gonna meet you. And Stephanie's like, well, I really don't feel like meeting your friends, you know, because we're having problems. And Erica's like, yeah, I just gave you the opportunity to talk to me about it and you say you didn't want to talk about it. So, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Tell my friends it's all been canceled? So Stephanie says, you know what? You expect a lot out of me after only 3 days of knowing each other. And Erica was like, but you're the one who said on your first day here that you wanted me to move to New York. So what is it? You want me to move to New York. You say I'm your girlfriend. You're demanding that I take things off of my phone. You're demanding that I not talk to my friends about our problems. But when I try to get intimate with you and hold your hand and hug you, you tell me you're not comfortable yet. So I don't understand. It's like you want to control me and be my girlfriend without the love language that I require. I want to cuddle with you. I want to hold you. I'm not saying we have to have sex, but damn, like, let me know that you like me and that you're not just here to bring me to America as your mail order bride. I have a whole life here. Stephanie's like, you're just never going to understand me. Erica's like, yeah, you're right. I'm never going to understand you because you don't want to talk about anything. Erica starts to cry. Stephanie sits there and looks at her, like, doesn't get up, doesn't come sit next to her, doesn't say, hey babe, I know I'm crazy and I'm sorry and this is a lot lot for me, but I have health issues. You know what she says? You know what? This is not the time because I don't want to get upset and get sick and then have my immune system be compromised. So, and Erica's like, great, you don't want to talk about anything. All right, cool. So we're meeting my friend later, going ahead and freshen up and do what you need to do. So later on, they meet up with one of Erica's friends, and Erica's friend is like, girl, your energy, like what's going on? And she's like, we've been having a lot of problems. It's just really confusing. She's giving me mixed signals. And Stephanie's like, I just am uncomfortable. I've just met her and it's a lot happening. Like we had some good times, but you know, it's a lot. And it's just a lot for all of us and we don't want to watch it anymore. The next couple that we're going to move on to is Varya and Jeffrey. Varya and Jeffrey wake up. Mama has a breakfast of over easy eggs and a tomato as breakfast, which seems very healthy, but also like, I'm a greedy Gus and like not filling. Like I would have needed like 2 cups of tea and maybe like a little bacon, you know what I'm saying? Like a little meat. They tell Mama about what their day is gonna be like and what the next couple of days is gonna be like. And Mama's a little sad because she hasn't seen Varya in a while and she wanted to spend more time with her, but Varya is gonna be taking Jeffrey around and then going camping with Jeffrey's friend Edgar. And Edgar knows about Jeffrey's past, so Jeffrey feels like finally it's time for him to tell Varya about his past. So they go to her grade school, they sit on the steps and she talks about growing up in this part of Siberia, Russia. Jeffrey tells her, ironically, that he's been to prison while they're sitting in front of a school that looks like a prison. Varya is very taken aback and very upset. This is a lot for him to say, and why didn't he say this beforehand? And he said, well, I wanted to tell you before we got serious. And she's like, you met my mom, fool. This is serious. And he said that was in my past. You know, I'm not that person anymore. And she said something about her cousin being on drugs and dying from an overdose. And did Jeffrey even think about the families of the people that he sold drugs to? And I'm just like, Jeffrey, that's the only thing you have to tell her? You don't want to tell her about your pending court issues with your girlfriend and her fleeing to Canada and you not having custody of one of your kids? Like, what? I mean, he looks like a stone cold killer in all of his mugshots. So like, I really think that he has more to tell her about his past present. You feel me? And he didn't mention any of that. And she gets upset. And I really think that her reaction is an overreaction. And maybe because I'm American and I'm desensitized to drugs. And maybe she grew up in like a communist, like very regimented country where maybe like drugs were demonized to like another level. But I'm just like, girl, you act like Jeffrey was on the corner pushing kids into using drugs. I mean, he did some shady shit with his kids and those drugs, making them drug mules. But I mean, he wasn't on the corner like, hey kid, come over here. Psst, you want to try some drugs? You want to try some drugs, make you feel real good. Like everybody has free will. I mean, at this point, I don't know how long ago her cousin died, but like at this point, you know what drugs are. And it's not Jeffrey's fault that your cousin died of an overdose. I'm not defending Jeffrey. I'm just saying Varya's reaction was a little extra. So she's so taken aback by this that she gets up and leaves him. And then Jeffrey starts to cry, girl. Why are you crying? It's too much. Stop crying. That's the end of their segment. I don't even care about Jeffrey and Varya anymore, honestly. I wonder what this camping trip with Igor is gonna be like. I really want to meet the person whose name is Igor. You know, here in the States, we have a very different, like a definite stereotype of a person named Igor. And Igor has a hunched back and it's like, yes, yes, master. So I want to know if he's like that. So the next couple that we're gonna talk about is Tom and Darcy. Tom decides that he's gonna have a conversation on the water's edge with this beautiful skyline of New York City behind him. I'm like, his sister must have been like, woo, what a beautiful view. And he's gonna take a walk and talk to his sister, who's really good at helping him see, like, you know, the things that are happening in his life from another perspective. So he has a conversation with her and he tells her basically that the conversation with Darcy didn't go as planned and he feels really bad. You know, I really did love Darcy. Well, Tom, you know she's not right for you. But that Darcy got upset when he tried to explain to her and assert like his true feelings. And I'm like, why didn't you tell your sister what you said? You asked her if she'd gained weight. You said to her, hope that she doesn't ruin her next relationship. He told the cameras that he was trying to get some clarity and he feels bad for what he said about Darcy. But then he talks to his sister and makes it seem like he just was trying to talk to Darcy, but Darcy just got upset and stormed off. Have a nice life. Yeah, you too, whatever. And I'm like, Tom, you know what you said to her. So then we have Darcy. I just feel like a fool. I haven't heard from Tom, and no phone call, no DM, no text message, nothing. And I'm just staying here because I don't want to put this energy onto my family and my sister. I really thought Tom was the one for me, but he's really just a Jesse in disguise. I mean, nobody wants to be alone. When am I gonna find my person? I didn't need to see him in person like this just for him to throw it in my face. He played me for a fool. Gee, thanks, Tom. Our angel Darcy is really doing her best to push a tear out of her eyes. I mean, that crocodile ass crying didn't fool nobody. And you know, I love me some Darcy. She was looking real fresh faced. She was in her towel and her robe. But I'm just like, Darcy girl, you are not even crying. And if you are, like, you making that fake ugly face to squeeze out 3 lines of tears, like, didn't endear me to you at all. And Tom is not a Jesse in disguise. Does she think that Tom used her to be on TV? I mean, I think he did too, but she also was crazy in London. We was there. She was crazy in London. She was crazy in Bulgaria. Girl, she crazy. And I'm not saying Tom is right, but what I am saying is that she's over there crying, talking about, I don't want him to think I'm needy. Like, she was doing too much at all times. Tom is a dick. But Darcy was also doing too much at all times. And her relationship with Jesse is different than her relationship with Tom. And frankly, I am tired of hearing Jesse's name. Jesse was an asshole. He really, really was. But like, I just don't want to see him anymore. And also the on Instagram tea, you know what I'm saying, word on the street. I saw a picture of Jesse and Tom hanging out, like sitting out at a restaurant in a booth. I mean, maybe they are using her for notoriety, but really, Darcy will always be my queen. And I don't care. She'll be my angel. Ooh, you're an angel, Darcy. Ooh, you're an angel, Darcy. Ooh, you're an angel in disguise. I can see it in your eyes. And... All right, the next person we're gonna talk about, because this isn't a couple, is Dum Dum David. All right, so Dum Dum David is in the Ukraine, and he's decided that he's gonna pack his bags and drive the 300 miles to to see Lana, because he is fed up. He has had it. He has come all this way 4 times, and he's done everything he can to try to meet this woman. So his American pride is not gonna let him chill, okay? He gets that car, he hops on the road, and while he's on the road, he says, you know what, if I were younger, I wouldn't be doing this. But I have dedicated 7 years of my life to this. And I have told that woman over and over again, if you want me to stop talking to you, please just tell me stop. And she continues to talk to him. And he's like, God, I want her. I'm at a crossroads in my life. I am not married, and I wanted to be married at least 20 years ago. And I just really want this woman. I want her. And the fact that she hasn't told me to stop, it's just like, it's too much. I need to see her. I need to know where we are and be done with it. So he's driving and he gets a flat, and he has to change a flat on the side of the road, which I'm just like, I don't know how to change a flat. So I'm like, congratulations to you. Then he gets to her hometown and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to show up at her door because that would be weird. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to scare her. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around and hopefully bump into her. At this point, I now realize that Dum Dum David is addicted to a fantasy of a person because he's never heard her voice, has to not know that that is not her. If he's been talking to her for 7 years, that means that he's been talking to her since she was 20 years old. We've only seen 3 pictures of this person. And that person, I can't tell how old she is. But if he's been talking to her since she was 20 years old, I want to see how she's grown. I want to see her 20-year-old self, her 22-year-old self, her 26-year-old self, and her 27-year-old self to know that this is real. This man has made up a whole life fantasy conversation. I mean, he has suspended his disbelief, filled in the blanks with these translated conversations that he's having with this person. He goes into a candy shop that he says is by her apartment. So he really is like low-key stalking her. He goes into this candy shop. The lady has allowed them to come into the candy shop because the lady's face is full on. She's got a mic, right? And he's like, placebo, I'm looking for my girlfriend. And he says it all through the phone, right? So the phone is like translating what it is. He shows a picture of Lana to the lady. Now here's the deal. It's very obvious that this woman does not recognize Lana. It's not like she looked at the picture and you could tell that she did and she just said, no, I don't know who she is. She doesn't. And that lets us know that Lana doesn't live there. And if she does, she is not the person in the picture. And TLC got permission from the woman who's in the picture to show it, right? Because otherwise TLC wouldn't be able to show it unless they got permission to show that woman on national television. TLC production knows that the woman is fake. But here's my thing. Imagine a Ukrainian man who doesn't speak English, who has been having a 7-year relationship with let's say a woman who lives in Hazelhurst, Georgia, next to Angela Deem. He decides he's gonna go to Atlanta. This Ukrainian man who doesn't speak English gets on a plane, flies to Atlanta, where he's supposed to meet his Hazelhurst, Georgia woman. The Hazelhurst woman doesn't show up in Atlanta. So he decides, after talking with his Ukrainian American friend, that he is going to get in a car and drive to Hazelhurst, Georgia. He gets to Hazelhurst, Georgia, not speaking any English. He goes into a See's Candy and he shows the person at the See's Candy a picture of a woman and says in English through a translation app, I'm looking for my girlfriend, have you seen her? Do you think that See's Candy worker would say, yes, I know who she is and where she is? I'm sorry, you are a stranger in a strange land where we never see foreigners. This is not Odessa. This is not Atlanta. This is not a major city where you see foreigners. This is a place where you never see any foreigners. In fact, they're very close to the border where there is a war. And now this person is asking you if you've seen a customer of yours just around the place. You think you would say yes? Absolutely not. I mean, the American gall of this man to think that he could just show up to Pomegranate and look for this woman. So after scouring the city, walking around hoping he just runs into this fake woman of his dreams, he goes back to his hotel. He opens up his computer. He sees a message from Lana, finally. And the message is, let me get my phone so I can quote it. Do you still want a meeting for a photo and start a relationship and visa? Do you still want a meeting for a photo to start a relationship and a visa? Not, hey hon, I'm so sorry. You're here, I apologize, I was sick, I couldn't meet you, I didn't have any way to contact you because, as you know, the only way for you to contact me or me to contact you is for you to pay for that to happen. I mean, I know part of the crassness of it was due to the translation, but I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how this man is allowing himself, just going through all this, talking about if he was younger, he wouldn't do it. I'm like, but you have your same brain and you're older and you're supposed to be wiser and you're still doing this. He is so happy, girl. He is just like, oh my God. Yes, that's all I want to do is have a mail order bride and bring you to the US so you can just be my wife. I know you're only 27 years old and I'm 62 years old, but that's all I want is to hear your Eastern European accent, to see your hot body and die on top of you because my heart is giving out trying to pleasure a 20-something-year-old woman. That's all I want in my life. I just want you to ride around in my RV with you. I know you have your whole life ahead of you and you probably have goals and plans and shit going on in your life, but no, I want you to stop that and come to Las Vegas and live with my weird ass and my unicycle and my cats because I want you and I have been fantasizing about you and thinking about you for 7 years. Dum David, I can't. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Lisa and Usman. Oh my God. So we have Lisa. Her accent is so annoying. It's like a Nigeria accent or it's a Hausa accent. It's like she's just picking up the way he's speaking English and like then regurgitating something back to him that's like in the same kind of, I don't know, girl, it's terrible. They leave the chalet and they're going to the goat farm to buy a goat. And they get there and she's like, this is a place, Usman, smelly goat place. They find a goat and he's like, pick one. And she's like, well, I don't know which one to pick and what do you do? Usman is just like, okay, you just pick one that you want to buy and then we'll talk about the price. So she picks a goat finally because it smells to high heaven and Usman wants to get out of there too. Like the whole camera crew, everybody's there and is annoyed. They want to get out of there, right? So Usman asks for the price. He says that it's 40,000 naira, which ends up being $115. And Lisa's like, I feel like he's charging me the white price. And Usman's like, I wouldn't let him do that. I wouldn't let him just overprice you. And then she's like, well, I feel like that's the white price. I don't know. And he's like, I already told you no. I already told you that wasn't the white price. Buy this goat and let's get out of here. Come on. First of all, $115 for a live animal doesn't seem like a lot of money. Spend money on crab at Costco. You know how much buying king crab at Costco cost me? Like $300. I'm like, buy that goat. I don't know if it was a female goat, but maybe you could get some milk from the goat, then some cheese from the goat milk, and then you kill the goat and have food for the family. I mean, come on, girl. $115? Maybe he should have haggled a little bit more, but maybe he was just like, look, let's get out of here. This is the price. You about to pay this money, whatever. They get back to the chalet where they get dressed and he buys her some traditional Hausa, I don't know if I'm saying the word right, garment. Hausa is his ethnicity. Helps her get into the garbs. I feel like they were a little tight personally, but they were really pretty. It's good color for her, blue. And then he puts the head wrap on her and I was just like, Usman has never put on a head wrap. He's never seen it done. He doesn't know what is going on. He just did the best he could, okay? And so they get into a Range Rover this time, take the goat to Mama's house, and then they get to Mama's house and all of this tough American Usman, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, type of behavior just flies out the window. She's not warm, she's not friendly. There is nothing about this exchange that would lead anybody to believe that she actually wants to marry him. And the translation that Usman is giving is ridiculous. They all sit down, they roll out this green carpet so they can sit out. All the kids are in the house except for one cutie tootie. Mama sits down, elder sister sits down, sister-in-law sits down, and baby sister sits down, okay? Then brother Muhammad ends up coming and sitting down as well. Lisa's like, does your family understand like why I'm here? And he's like, okay, let me ask them. And I know this is for production that he's like going through this and asking these questions because honestly, he said earlier that his mother knows about Lisa, knows that he wants to marry Lisa, and didn't talk to him for 3 months. So Usman is like, do you know why we're here? And the family's like, no, we don't know why you're here. Because I guess in their mind, they're like, didn't we already talk about this? Didn't I already stop talking to you for 3 months? I already told you my answer. So yeah, I do not know why we are here right now. So the sister asks, how is America? And Usman translates that to, what do you do in America? Like, what's your job? And Lisa says that she's a hospice worker and that she helps elderly, you know, at the last stages of their lives. And he says she's a doctor in the US. And then his sister goes, oh, God bless. Great. The way he translates it, it sounds like she's his suitor and that she has come to the family to ask the family to be able to take their son into her family. It's very formal, and maybe that's the way it needs to be done. But he puts the onus on Lisa. He's like, this woman has a mission, and her mission is to come here and bring me to America and make me her husband because she loves me very much. Usman says America like 3 different times. This woman from America is here to take me back to America, and this is what she does in America. Like he just keeps trying to like explain to them that America is this place that he wants to go and he has this golden opportunity. And they don't see it like that. Mom is like, no. Older sister is like, no. And that's literally all they say. They're just like, no, it's not happening. No, it's not gonna happen. Now, I honestly don't know what the significance is of her going from a white hijab to a purple hijab, but I do know that the woman said no, put on a change of clothes, got up, and just left, her and the daughter. And Usman is like, that was very bad, so we should take our leave. I mean, Lisa says nothing. She didn't say, you know, how are you? How is your health? She didn't learn any words in the language. She didn't even like prepare. She just expected Usman to do it all. I mean, at least Angela was like, Mama, here's the bag. Here's the gift for you. Here's this, here's that. You know, Ashe Mama. At least Angela is like really trying to indoctrinate herself into this family. It felt like Lisa felt that the family owed her something. The reason why she got up and left is because that conversation was over. She doesn't want her son to go to the US because she knows how whites treat blacks there. And the fact that Lisa's so old. They're just like, get out of here with this. If you want to see some beautiful women talking about 90 Day Fiancé and you want to see some other perspectives besides mine, please check out Nikki Star TV as well as Chris Farah. I will have their channels linked above or afterwards or something, girl. You know what I'm saying? Just go on ahead and click on them. Show these other 90 Day Fiancé recappers some love. So Dr. Baby Girl Lisa and Usman get up and leave, get back into the Range Rover, and she's like, you had 2 years to fix this. And I'm just like, listen, leave this man alone. He's doing the best that he can do with his scam. You know, from now on, anytime I'm done with any situation, I'm gonna do this. She put on her royal robe and left, and also showed us how Avery's mom should have did it. Avery's mom is over there looking like E.T. Meanwhile, Usman's mother is looking just so ethereal and like, huh, I'm leaving. So our final couple is Rosemary and Ed. And it just keeps getting better. Ed's mother is an immigrant from Mexico, and you would think that Ed would be a little bit more in tune with international life, with just the world at hand, and he really isn't, and it's so shocking. So this is after the dinner, and Ed and Rose are putting the house back together. They're folding up the chairs, they're putting up the table, and Papa comes in. Papa comes in and lets Rosemary know that he's gonna be spending the night there because he wants to make sure that Ed is respectful to Rosemary. Now, I am not sure if Papa doesn't recall that Rosemary has already spent 2 nights in Manila with him in his hotel. I guess maybe she told them a different story as to what was going down. But he's like, when you're in our village, I'm staying here and you're gonna respect my daughter. Ed and Rose go to make up her room. She shows him her room and he is so taken aback. And frankly, I am too. And I'm not saying that Ed is correct. I'm saying that if it were me, I would have done my research and asked to get a tour of the room before I even set foot in the Philippines, before I even got on a plane to go to the Philippines. Now, it really led me to understand that as much as I feel like I have a connection to people who are in like jungle-esque, you know, humidity-filled, tropical islands and countries, my family is not as poor as Rosemary's family, just out the gate. So as soon as I walked in there, I would have said, unfortunately, Rose, I love you to death, but I cannot sleep here. Period. I just can't. So you can tell that her bedroom floor is like a strip of linoleum or a strip of something because it like kind of goes up a little bit on the wall. Ed keeps on asking stupid questions and it just frustrates me because it's like, your mother is an immigrant. How do you not know about life in other countries? It starts to rain and he's like, oh, it's raining. And she's like, yeah, it's the rainy season. And he's like, oh, you didn't know it rained in Manila? You can't feel this humidity? Unless that rain is coming right off the water and it's cool, that means that it's a hot rain. The mosquitoes are gonna come out. Father says that he's gonna spend the night. Ed and Rosemary go in and they like fix up the room. And Ed's like, I have never slept with a girlfriend's dad. First of all, you've had girlfriends? Also, of course you haven't, because it's a different circumstance. He literally thinks that the man is gonna sleep in the same room in between them in the bed. And the man's like, no, I'm just gonna sleep over here in this other room. I mean, why didn't the man just like go sleep somewhere else? I would have been like, production, where are you sleeping? Because that's where I'm gonna be sleeping. So they make up the bed and it is just, This man is worried about the storm. He's like, is that thunder? So she's like, oh yeah, sorry about the leak. And he's like, well, okay, what about those exposed wires? I'm like, this girl has lived in this place for at least, 5 years and she hasn't been electrocuted yet. I don't know why you think you're gonna be electrocuted. He is just all kinds of American worried, okay? And the next morning, he is just drenched in sweat. His hair is looking crazy. He says he didn't sleep at all last night. He wasn't comfortable. That made Rose like, a little bit like hurt and upset about it. But she's like, whatever, we're moving on. Let's go shower. The dad's like, oh, okay, I'll shower too. And so they shower in this area that I guess is by the toilet, or I don't know, girl. They're just showering in the area over there. Every time the water gets thrown on him, he's like, I love a shower in a humid city. They got the soap out and they're lathering up. Dad's throwing water on his face and like, washing out his hair. And Ed is just like, she gets the water hose because she's like, okay, we're gonna rinse you off for real now. And so she gets the water hose. She's like, put the water on, please. They put the water hose on and she sprays and the dad is just like, I feel like Rose and her dad are just having an amazing time making Ed feel uncomfortable. In the words of Jennifer, Ed is a pussy. He's like lathering up and she's like wetting his back. He's like, Rose. And she's like, yes, Ed, I'm right here. He's like, oh, I dropped the soap. So dad reaches down and gets the soap because for whatever reason, I just imagine Ed can't get down and get it. And she's just like spraying him and he's like, okay, I'm done. Are you scared of water, Ed? And then he's like, are those chickens? Ed, those are the same chickens from yesterday. There's also rabbits. There's also a big wheel. There's also a bike. There's also other various junk in this corner. And then he like wipes himself off with his sweaty ass shirt that he wore to bed and he wore all day before. And then he like walks by the saddest looking rat I have ever seen. And I don't know if the rat was emaciated and super hungry or just like got wet by the water and so like couldn't really move. I mean, he is so upset about this rat. And don't get me wrong, I'm upset too. But his reaction of like hiding behind the door and being like, Rose, what is that? And she's like, mouse? That's a mouse. And he's like, you mean a rat? And she's like, I think so. The fact that she is punking him and laughing at him for being scared about this mouse rat, it was so large. I was like, that is a marsupial, okay? That is a possum, perhaps. It is a baby possum. So I understand Ed, but he's also a bumbleclot fool for going and staying with that woman. And then he recognizes how poor this woman is, and instead of him saying, you know what? Wow, I really didn't know that my girlfriend is this poor and I just feel so terrible. He then says, I didn't realize she was this poor, and that leads me to believe that, wow, I am her meal ticket and this might not be real love. So I have to discern whether or not this is real love. And I'm like, Ed, this is not the time and place. You should have discerned that before you got here. And you knew what you were doing by dating a 23-year-old poor woman from the Philippines. You knew what you were doing. And now you're putting it all on her. Like, you need to find out if she's really in love. You are her meal ticket. You're her meal ticket. Your princess meal ticket. Duh. Accept your role, bro. So he decides that he really wants the dad to like him. So they're going to go take a visit to the pig farm. Okay. And the dad owns the pig farm. They like rush to get this bus, and he's like, so, to the dad, do you like living in the Philippines? I don't understand why you would ask that question. Like, obviously this man likes living in a place where he is from. It's not like he has much choice about where he's living. It's not like he could just decide to live somewhere else. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, so it's like a jungle, right? It's a jungle. It's pretty jungly here. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, oh, are we almost there yet? And they're like, yes, Ed. So they get out and they have to help him all around climb up to the piggy farm where that is. And Ed's like, oh, this is really cool. It's not cool. I'm sure it smells to high heaven. And he's like, oh, it's really cool. So he's trying to be a good sport. He's trying to feed the pigs, but he's there in Nikes. I don't know why Rose didn't tell him to get some galoshes. She's trying to help Ed. Ed keeps slipping. He like drops the thing. And again, I'm like, all the king's horses and all the king's men, where are they? And then he's like, oh, where does your dad stay? We pan over to something that is less than a shack. And I'm immediately like, oh my God. And Ed says, well, does he like living there? And And he's like, yeah, this is my passion. These are my pigs. This is my life. I'm just like, this man, Rosemary's dad must be like, this pussy is trying to marry my daughter. That's fine. I guess once he gets that barbecue grill, I think he'll feel a little different. Asking the dumbest questions. He's like, I want her dad to like me. And I'm like, so you ask the most obvious questions? You have nothing in common with this man. Asking him if he likes to live in the Philippines is not the mode. As much as these people are ridiculous, I mean, this was an absolutely great episode. I want to thank Dr. Babylove, and I want to thank Usman, and I want to thank Ed and Rosemary for this amazing episode. All right, you guys, so that is the end of my recap. Please let me know what you thought. Let's have a kiki and a conversation down below. Don't forget to check out those channels I told you to check out. Also, don't forget to look at these videos. Girl, stay on YouTube and let them know how you feel about me. Give this video a thumbs up and share on any social media platform you feel necessary. All right, remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.